there, welcome back. So I had a request to do fountain pens on a budget. So I thought I would film and share some of my more budget-friendly pens and then talk about some of the inks or ink options that you can also get on a budget. So I'm gonna go through these pens fairly quickly and just talk a little bit about how much they are, where you can get them, and my thoughts on them. All these pens I have owned for a little while, except for these two, but I actually have other versions of these two that I have owned for longer. So I do have thoughts on those two pens as well. Okay, so we'll just get started. So this little pen is a Jen Howe. It is a shark body style. It's sort of a hooded nib, and it's very budget friendly. I can't remember. I think I got mine on like Jet Pens. They had a whole pack of them, but it came with the converter, and it's just a real easy, basic, cheaper pen, but it wrote really well. I haven't used it in a long time. I still see people using these all the time, so they're still available out there. But like I said, I got mine in a pack of like 10 or 12, and I think I paid maybe $20 for it, if that. So these are very budget friendly. They write really well. I think they only come in one nib size. I don't remember it saying like what nib. Yeah, I don't see any markings saying what nib size this is. If I remember correctly, it was fairly fine tipped, so maybe just a fine. But yeah, this is a great little pen. I'm sure you can get it on like AliExpress or somewhere like that is very cost effective. You might have to wait for shipping, but if you're looking to get started or just a fun like novelty pen, these are great. So next up is probably one of the more budget friendly. Some of these are a little pricier, but this one is a very well-known brand. It's made by Pilot. It's called a Kakuno. So these pens, I have a few of these. They come in different nib sizes. So this is a medium. They have like a little face. I don't know. There we go. They have little faces on the nibs. So they are a little more, I guess, whimsical. But I mean, really, you can't, I don't even notice it when I'm writing. I don't even think about it. But now these do not come with the converter. They are cartridge converter. I think it came with a cartridge, but they do not come with the converter. These converters run about $6 or $7, and the pen is about $13 on most websites. You can get these on Atlas or Venice, most of your, small shop, if that's how you're wanting to spend your money via small. You can purchase these on any number of those websites, and they come in a huge range of colors. So they have like these that are more bright and fun, and then they have the clear ones. So this one's a medium nib as well. I have a fine nib, but I tend to buy medium for most of my pens now. I still enjoy my fine. I'm not huge on extra fine anymore, but Pilot nibs are a little more fine. They're finer nibs. Japanese nibs tend to be finer than European nibs, so any pen that comes from a Japanese maker is going to be a little finer. So just keep that in mind when you buy pens. I do prefer these in a medium. Now, my more expensive Pilot, I have that in a fine, and I absolutely love that pen. So it's just really what you are looking for. These are probably more like a 0.5 to 0.7 in the middle of that. I don't think they're a 0.5. I think they're probably in the middle of those two. So I really like the Pilot Kakunos. They're fun pens. Very good quality and cheap. So this pen I've had for a really long time. I think you can get this pen on a number of different sites. It is also a Jinhao. I paid $9 for it on Amazon, but I did replace the nib. The nib that came on this was not very good. It was scratchy. I think this is the only Jinhao that I've bought that I did not like the nib on it when I received it. So this has a Goulet nib on it. I bought it several years ago. I bought it right after I bought the pen, and I think I bought the pen in like 2018, 2019. So I've had this one for a while. It's an extra fine. I don't really gravitate toward it anymore. I might see about swapping this out for one of my, I think that's just a Yovo number 6 nib. So I may see if I can just put one of my Yovo nibs on it and try it out. It is a little heavier, but I do like the section, and I love that it's just a pop on, pop off. Sometimes that's just what you need, but it's very sparkly with, like, I think it's holographic glitter. It's very sparkly. So that's another option. This one as well. So these are inspired by the Sailor pens. This pen is, I think it was $9.99. I got it on Amazon. I'm sure you can pick it up elsewhere as well. Maybe AliExpress or some other resellers. But this is I think I got this one in a fine. Yeah, this one's a fine nib. But this is a very good representation of what a Sailor pen will feel like, not what a Sailor pen's gonna write like. It doesn't write anything like a Sailor. It does come with a cartridge converter. I forgot to mention this one also is a cartridge converter and comes with the converter. So this pen is very, size-wise, is very similar to a Sailor. I like to post these. This is a Jinhao 82. This thing comes in tons of different colors. I have it in a few colors. I have an extra fine and a fine. I really like this fine nib. It's more like, it's just very smooth. The extra fine I have is smooth, but I don't like how fine it writes. It's very fine. So this one is a little more my speed. If I were to write with the other one, I'll just put this nib in it. Most of these are swappable. The nibs on these two are, this one is, I believe this one is as well. And then these two are, but they're a little more difficult to swap, but it's possible. So yeah, these you just screw out the nib and you can put in a new nib if you choose to do so. So yeah, this is a great little pen for 10 bucks. It's really pretty, very much sparkly. I think this one was called Transparent Rose Red. It's more of a magenta in my opinion, but it's a great little option for, you know, just grabbing a pen and not feeling, it's like my Sailor pens, I don't want to throw them in my purse. They're, the one that I have left, I already sold the other one, but the one I have left is, it has intricate like painting on the outside, and I wouldn't want that to get scratched or damaged, so I wouldn't put that just in my purse. These, on the other hand, if something happens to them, I'm not going to be too upset. I can replace it, I do take really good care of my pens. All of my pens I keep in a pen case when I take them in my purse. So most things won't get damaged, but these are a little, you know, a little more budget friendly. So then this one is a Jinhao as well. These are just, the Jinhao brand is just definitely meant to be inspired by other pens. Most of their pens are, I don't consider them dupes because they don't write like the other pens. To me, they are inspired by, or maybe replicas, I guess would be a better term. But they are not dupes. They do not have the gold nib. Like this does not have a gold nib like a Sailor pen does. It is not a dupe. This, I'm not sure what this pen is meant to be inspired by. I've not really seen another pen that like is this big, but I don't gravitate toward pens like this, so maybe that's why. But Steven got me one. He got me this green one, which is currently inked up. He got me this one for my birthday, and I love this pen. It writes so nice. So I saw this yellow one, and I thought that would be so fun for spring. These pens were $13 on Amazon. So I'll show you the converter on this one because it has ink in it. But the nibs are really nice size. They have this little heartbeat pattern. It's called a heartbeat nib. I don't know if it's going to focus, if you can see that, but it's really pretty. This is a medium. I have the yellow one and a fine. Again, you can swap these nibs out, but this converter is ginormous. It has so much ink in there that I think it'll last forever. But I mean, it seems like a well-made. I believe these are also the converters that unscrew. I don't think it just pulls out. So, but it's a really nice pen. They are a bit on the thicker side if you like those girthier pens. To me, they're borderline too big, but I really like these and I love the ink capacity. It's almost, I would say, nearly like a TWSBI. It's not quite. It probably holds about a mil or a little more than a mil. I think TWSBIs hold like 2.5 mils. But most of these converters only hold like 0.6 to 0.8 mils. So you're going to get not as much ink in any of these pens. Well, this one you will. But in any of these pens or these two versus these two are going to hold a lot more ink. Next up, so I really do, I enjoy that pen a lot. So next up, I have this Hongdian M2. Now this is similar or inspired by the Kaweco aluminum Sport. I do like that this has the clip built in. Let me pull mine out. The Kaweco does not have the clip built in. You have to buy it separately. So you can buy these clips and then add them to your pen. They're nice little clips, but they do slide pretty easily. So I don't know about, like, I use it mainly for the look because I think they look a little bare when you have one without a clip like this. I think they look a little bare, so I put clips on mine. These are the Kaweco Sports. These are just very, these are cheaper, a cheaper option. But this one has the clip built in. It's nice. I think this one was $19.99 on Amazon as well. You can probably pick these up on AliExpress for a fraction of the cost. This is a nice pen. It's got a good weight to it. It is your typical pocket pen. It's smaller. This one does come with a converter as well. I love that these pens come with a converter because that is really hard to have to purchase a converter once you've paid. You know, I mean, like these pens don't come with one, and these aren't too bad. So they're like $28, but then you're buying a $5 or $6 converter. But when you buy the aluminum one, the metal one that I just showed, the green one, It doesn't come with, you can refill the cartridges, which is fine. That's what I do a lot of the time because the converter for the Kaweco is pretty small. But to me, you spend $92, you should really get, you should get your converter with it, in my opinion. But, you know, I don't make the rules, so I'm just here to talk about it, and I want you to have all the information. But this is a nice pen. I really enjoy this pen. It's a good writer. I think this one, yeah, I got this one in a medium as well. Good smooth nib. Like I said, it does come with your cartridge converter. I think it came with an actual cartridge. It came with the converter. And it's just a nice pen. Yeah, like $20, roughly around that range. I think it was like $19.95. Okay, so the last two are going to be higher on the budget, but they're also a little more, I'm not going to say, because the quality of all of these seem, I mean, I've had this pen for, what, 6 years, and it still works fine. These pens are excellent quality. I've had my Gen House I've had my other one for about a year. I've had this one for just a few months. I've had this one for a really long time. And then the green one I've only had for a little over, maybe a month or almost a month. But the Gen House seems like it's decent quality. But these pens have years, many years of good quality reputations, I guess. So the Lamy, this is the AL or the All-Star, I think is what it's called. I don't really buy these pens. I don't like the grip. So that's something I feel like you should know, is if you buy the Lamy Safari or the Lamy All-Star, they have like a triangular grip that force you to hold the pen the correct way, which is good. For me, I hold the pen a different way. I hold mine like this, and this is just not comfortable with this grip section. So that's why I don't buy Lamy pens, except for my my Lamy 2000. It does not have a grip like this, but it's meant to help you and train you to hold a pen properly. But like I said, I don't, so it's just really not comfortable for me to hold this pen. I bought this pen at the Atlanta Pen Show many years ago. It's a limited edition, and so I'll keep it. It's just in my collection, and these are, I think, about $36. Not for the metal ones, for the plastic ones. They do not come with the converter. They only come with a cartridge, so you would either have to clean your cartridge out and refill it, or you would have to buy the converter, which I believe is like $8 maybe, $6-8, something like that. And theirs pops in. I like that it's nice and secure. That is one really nice option with their converter. It just pops in. It's got these little knobs on either side of the converter, so you can't really put it in wrong. You just pop it in, and I do like that feature, especially for newer pen buyers who aren't really familiar with how to use this type of, filling system. So there is that. I really do love the way this pen looks, and I wish I could get past the grip section, or that they would make them without that, because it's just really uncomfortable for me to hold. But they're great pens, great option for a budget. The TWSBI was my first pen and my favorite pen for many, many years. They have a similar design on the Lamy grip section called an Eco T. This is just a plain Eco. I did not realize that when I bought my first Eco T. I have sold those since. Its grip section isn't as pronounced as the Lamy, but it does have that grip section on the Eco T. The Eco, this one, does not have that grip section. These both come in tons of colors. You can get, pretty much any kind of color combination. You know, if you like purple or green or blue, or they have many different colors out there. So these are piston only fill, so you have to have bottled ink or samples to fill this pen. Any of these other pens, you can use a cartridge converter, which acts the same, but they're fully disassemblable and easier to clean. This is not as easy to clean. You can disassemble it, though I don't recommend it unless you absolutely have to. Watch tons of videos. I've had to take them apart, and just getting the piston in the right spot was a little hard. So it took me a little bit of time. But these are great pens. They hold a lot of ink. So if you're just wanting to fill an ink or fill a pen one time and write with it for a long time, this is going to be your best option. This will hold a ton of ink. It will write pretty much every time. I have had these pens inked for 2 or 3 years, let them set. It did stain the barrel, but they wrote. They were not dried out. There was no issues. I know a lot of people have had quality issues with these pens. I have owned these pens since 2017, I think, when I bought my first one, 2016, 2017, I can't remember. But I have only, no, it was before that, more like 2015. Anyway, I have only ever replaced one part on one of these pens, and it's the oldest one that I've had. It's a limited edition Diamond 580 from 2014. I didn't buy it in 2014, but it's that old. And I replaced it last year, that it had a tiny little crack, and it was from me over tightening it. It wasn't a fault in their design. I've owned, I don't know, maybe 20 Ecos over the years. I've never had an issue with any kind of breakage or cracking or anything like that. So you just have to be careful with your pens. You can't over tighten them, and that's a lot of people's issues, is when they tighten these back up, they just over tighten them. You don't need to. These pens seal so well that you just screw the lid on, and you know, that's it. You can swap these nibs. I'm not gonna demonstrate that. I have a video on it from a while ago. It's possible. I don't recommend it unless you know what you're doing. You can really mess up your feed. And then, you know, you can't buy these pieces regularly, like out in the store. You have to contact TWSBI. They did send me a new barrel for my Diamond 580 for $5. So I didn't have to pay for the barrel. And it was my fault. I'm sure it was. But they replaced it for the shipping cost. And I was very thankful for that. So I do enjoy TWSBI. I think they have excellent customer service. They have great options for pens. And if you can, you know, learn how to fill one, which it's not hard, but yeah, if you learn how to fill one and clean it, I think this is going to be a really great option. These are $32, so you don't need anything else except for ink to go with this pen. Whereas like this one is already $36. You have to buy the converter separately or use cartridges. Same with this one. It's a lot cheaper. It's only 14 bucks, but you're either going to have to buy the converter separately, which is $6, $7, something like that. So then you're in the $20 range. And I mean, that's not bad. That's a great deal for this pen. I'm not trying to talk anybody out of or into buying anything. I'm just here to give information. But then, you know, you have these Gen Hows that if you're just looking to dip your feet in, find a style that just sort of speaks to you, or a pen that you really love the look of, and pick it up. It can't hurt, you know, $8 or $9. Pick it up and see if you enjoy it. I recommend any of these pens that are laying here. I think they are all great options. They are pens that I use or know they're very well liked in the community. I say that about the Lamy because I don't use that pen, but a lot of people love these pens. It's just really the grip section. I would love them if it wasn't for that grip section. That's the only thing I don't like about that pen. But other than that, these are great options. Okay, so I'm not going to get really deep into inks, but I am going to just kind of touch on a little bit of what you can buy. So Diamine inks are some of my favorite. They are more cost effective. They come in different size bottles, so you can get them in this size bottle, you can get them in this size bottle, you can get them in this size bottle. So this one is, I think, 50. Yeah, this one's 50 mils. This one is 80 mils. And then these are 30. Yeah, 30 mils. So you can get a pack like this for $20. So if you want, you know, a few different options, you can find these packs around that have 3 different colors or 6 different colors for like 20 bucks or less. This was, I believe it was like $20 or a little bit less, maybe $17. Maybe this was 17 and these are like 20. So I mean, 80 mils is going to get you, if you look at, it's going to get you more than 80 fills in pretty much any of these pens. You'd get less in this one because you can hold about 2.5 mils in that pen. But your normal average converter is going to hold about 0.8 mils, so less than 1 mil. So for an 80 mil bottle, you're going to fill a pen up roughly more than 80 times. And same with these, you know, you're going to get like more than 30 fills on these smaller bottles. So you can get options like this. I mean, this comes out to be what, like $7 a piece, less than $7 a piece, $6.50, something like that. And so that's a really good option if you want some different colors. Now, if you just see one color that you like, I'll do, I think these are like $22. So these are 30 mils. So these are roughly, is it 30? Yeah. These are roughly the same size. But because of the brands, Linen Toolbar is who makes this. This is a $22 bottle of ink. You can get this one for, like I said, about $6. You can buy these bottles individually for like $8 on most of the websites. Just look and see because they usually come in both sizes. And these are like, maybe, yeah, these are like 17, I think. 17, 18. And then these are like $8. So either way, you could still get a lot of ink for $8 if you buy this way. So those are a few options. You can also pick up samples. And these usually have a couple mils in them, depending on where you buy from. This one is from Ink Journal, so you can get a pack of 10 of these for like $17. Or you can buy from, let's see, I'm trying to find another company. All of these are from here. Okay, so this is from Van Ness. Now, they let you choose between, I think, a 2 mil and 4 mils. So, I mean, that's 2 fills or 4 fills, roughly, of an ink vial. So, you could get this. This is like $4 for one of these. So, the ones from Ink Journal, you get like this little plastic case. I have a video on that as well. And that's a really good option because you get 10 different random samples. Now, you don't get to choose your ink, but you get 10 different random samples and the little holder for $17. And I think that's a pretty good buy. But Van Ness offers the ink samples. There are a few other companies out there, but I generally just buy from Van Ness because they allow you different size samples. You know, if you want to try a larger sample, you can. They're usually like $4 or $5. I think the smaller samples are like $3. So that's something to check out. I have a lot of different samples at this time. I need to go through them. it just really depends on what kind of budget you're looking to spend, but you can always find, you know, like, I feel like buying the ink is much more cost efficient versus buying the cartridges, because the cartridges, you're only getting 6 cartridges, or you're only getting 10 cartridges, and you're paying a set price for that. Whereas, you know, this, you're getting so many mils, so you know, I want to write with this pen for months and months and months, and this is my favorite ink, and I want to use it all the time, so I'm going to fill up a TWSBI with it. I'm going to have that ink in there forever, because I don't write with it a whole lot, but that huge fill is going to allow me to, and it's a good sealing pen, so it's not going to dry out. So really the cost effectiveness and the budget friendliness of this can be however you want to make it. This hobby really can be as cheap as you want it, or as expensive as you want it. So it just really depends. And the FOMO that inks are, you can find inks that are very similar to other colors. I have so many colors of ink, and I'm sure that I have multiples or very close. I mean, I just bought this Deadly Nightshade, and it's a Cult Pens exclusive, so I had to buy it from overseas. And honestly, this ink looks almost exactly like Lamy Dark Lilac 2024, the new one. It looks very similar, except it has a shimmer. The Lamy doesn't have a shimmer, but they both sheen. The green, I think they are purple inks and sheen green. Very nice inks, but I mean, now I have two basically the same ink. So you kind of have to watch about that, because you can wind up with very similar colors. It's just, yeah, it's really what you make of it for this hobby. I recommend, my recommendation would be to either buy a Pilot Kakuno or a TWSBI Eco, or the Lamy if you feel like that would be more your speed versus the TWSBI. I think these two are like your basic, most people go with these two for like a starter pen, but I think there's a lot more option out there now for that. But if you really like the look of this pen, then buy this pen. You know, it's $9. It's the cheapest one out of all of these. So it really just depends on what you're looking to spend, or if you don't know if you like them. You know, you may not want to even be in this hobby, but it's definitely, there are options. So, but my end of the day, my recommendation would be to buy a Pilot Kakuno and 1 bottle of ink. If you don't choose, you know, an ink that is very, like, I could write with this color all year. I could write with actually any of these colors all year. But now this one, on the other hand, is a shimmer ink. It's very purple. It is a beautiful ink, and I have one pen dedicated to it because it matches it so well. But it's not a pen that I would really want to write with all year long. And not all pens perform well with shimmer. So that's another thing that you kind of have to look at if you're going to get into like shimmer inks and things like that. But I would recommend, if you're just starting out, picking up a Pilot Kakuno and getting a bottle of ink. You would have to buy the converter. So, I mean, you're out about $28 here. So you could buy, if you had a little more of a budget, you could buy either one of these pens and the same, you know, ink, and you're more like at a 40, 45 price range. You could buy this pen and this ink, and you're roughly out $16. So this is going to be your cheapest option if that's what you're going for. But that would be my recommendation, would be like the Pilot, one of these two, or this pen, just depending on your budget, what you're looking to spend. And then just a bottle of ink. see if you like doing it. See if it's something that's fun for you. You don't want to put a whole bunch of money in to something that, you know, ultimately you're not enjoying. And then I just have like my major tip. This is just for anything you buy, shop around. There are so many stationery shops. I'm a loyalist. I find one shop and I just buy everything from them. Unless I absolutely can't get it from them, then I'll go somewhere else. Because like samples and things, I buy most of my pens and most of my inks from Atlas. If they don't carry it, then yes, I do branch out a little bit. There are some exclusive pens that I have picked up from other shops, and I very much enjoy those pens. Ink samples I buy from Van Ness because Atlas doesn't offer samples. But ultimately, most of these shops offer affiliate codes to people who, you know, who are influencers who sell or who share information like this. So like Atlas, I have an affiliate code. If you go to Atlas and you purchase from them and use my code, which is Heather Plans, you can save 10%. There are exclusions. Pilot is not, does not offer. Pilot and TWSBI do not offer discounts on their products. Neither do Diamine. You can, they do offer it. Every now and then they'll have like a code. I think it was like Fountain Pen Day and maybe Black Friday. They put some of these brands on sale, or the codes will work for them. So that's just a few times a year, but look for those sales. Look for coupon codes from people. Look on the site and see if they have a, 10% off for signing up for emails. You can cancel those emails if you don't want to get them. Sign up, get that 10% off, that welcome discount. Look for the different methods of saving money. And then a lot of these shops also offer rewards. So it pays for you to be loyal to their brand, because you can get 10, 20, 25, I think, are some of the larger coupons. Pen Chalet, for every, I think it's for every 200 you spend, you get like $20 off, which is a really nice coupon. I mean that's really, I guess, 10% off. So it's not, but having $20 off of something, I don't know, it just feels like a nice coupon. And I think it's $200 because I got one when I bought my pen. Always look for coupons and deals, and then shop around, because I have found pens that were a lot cheaper on other sites. But watch where you're buying from. There are a lot of resellers out there that scam. So I wouldn't recommend buying on like Facebook or, TikTok Marketplace. Some of those might be selling knockoff pens or things that aren't legitimate. So I would definitely do your research on the company that you're buying from. I can put a list down below of pen shops that I purchase from. I'm not going to list all of the pen shops out there because I don't know, like customer service or quality of some of these shops, because I've never purchased from them. But the pen shops that I purchase from, I will link them below if I recommend them, I guess would be the best way to put it. So anyway, that is my budget-friendly fountain pen video. If you have any recommendations for anyone, feel free to drop it down in the comments. I don't know everything, obviously. I've been doing this for a long time. I have a lot of knowledge, but new things come out all the time, and I'm always learning. I try to pass on the knowledge that I have, that I've learned over the years, and I try not to share information that isn't accurate. But if I have people asking me for, you know, certain videos or certain questions, I always try to point them in the direction if I don't know, or I will tell you I don't know, but this is the way I do it, things like that. There's a lot of great shops out there, and a lot of people in some of the Discords will buy and sell pens at a reduced rate. So if you're not part of a really good Discord community, I recommend that as well. You can find great deals from meeting people in the community or making friends in the pen community. I've sold several pens at much cheaper than what I paid for them, just because I knew they were going to get the love that they deserved from someone else. So there are a lot of ways that you can save money in this hobby. There's a lot of ways you can spend a lot of money in this hobby too, but you can save, and you can do it on a budget. Yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to leave them below. And if you have any recommendations, I don't know any of the shops over, you know, in Germany. And I know I have some viewers out there that are UK-based, Germany-based, Australia-based. So if you guys would chime in and just maybe leave a couple of shops that you buy from, just to help people out, I would really appreciate it. I will leave my shops below, so anybody in the US can check those out. I always appreciate your engagement and chatting with you guys. If you like this video, don't forget to give me a thumbs up, and it would mean the absolute world to me if you consider subscribing. I'll see you guys in the next one.